Hey team, it is day 74. 16 days to go. Keep pushing. I know you can do it, but I don't really want to go through these 6 goals today. Man, a little frustrating. I'm up at about a pound from yesterday, but I have noticed I do have more energy. I'm actually lifting heavier than I used to. I have energy when I go to the gym. Today was a good example. Being able to lift a little more, throwing a little bit of cardio after, and it's just like, dang it. You know, that weight keeps going up. I want it to go the other way. But I believe I'm in the right spot after I took you guys through that calorie mix with the macros and stuff. Something messing around with my, increasing my weight with lifting and stuff, I think has something to do with it. We've talked about as you tear down muscles, how they retain water a little bit. Like I said, I believe, over the next, 3 to 4 days, this thing should start heading back down the other way. I've been reading about, how you flush and stuff, and I'll keep giving you guys that content, but let's get to it, right? I can't deny it. I can't avoid it. Day 74, 216.8. I'm up a pound from yesterday, 2298 for calories. So I went a little above with my protein and then a couple more grams of fat. Yeah, that's not good either, but 144 ounces of water, 7 hours of sleep, 40 minutes of workout, and again, 228 grams of protein. So like I said, I'm feeling better. I just don't like that scale. I honestly, my clothes are fitting much looser than they used to. So I'm like, everything is good except for like what number I see on that scale. And me, myself, I know it's how you feel in your clothes. It's how you feel when you look at yourself, the confidence in things. I'm just a super goal-oriented person. I go for my goals when I set them, and that's what's bothering me right now. But you know what? We're going to get there as good as we can over the next 17, 16 days. So, but one thing I do want to talk about today, just get my little pity party I just had, so I apologize. But what does it mean when a food is a negative calorie food? Like I heard this a long time ago, like 20 years ago. I heard this when I was first starting out in the realm of fitness, and you know what? For me, it was like strawberries are the negative calorie food, and I just want to go over like what does it mean when a food is a negative calorie food? And I'm going to put these down. So what it does mean is that when you consume the food, the calories it takes for your body to digest are more than the actual calories contained in the food itself. And the idea behind this normally is used with, or the foods that are touted as negative calorie foods are normally ones that really have a high water content, like celery. I think celery is like 90% water. Carrots, are in the 80s, lettuce, broccoli, watermelon. I like strawberries, apples. That's all that kind of stuff is like, hey, negative calorie foods. Whoa, this is awesome. I can eat all these things and they're negative calories, and like, so if I eat food, I actually lose weight. So if you ate 1,000 pounds of celery, would you start to like, would the fat like burn to, I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense when you think about it from a logical standpoint. So the truth is, so it means like, hey, burn more digesting food than calories food contain. I know that doesn't sound super grammatical, but the truth of the matter is that's what it is. You burn more calories than what they contain. High in water, okay, is kind of the other thing. But let's write this one in red. It is a myth. Mythbusters here for you. Every food that you eat has some sort of calorie value. So there are no such things as negative calorie food. So I'm just going to put up here, no such thing. Now, everything that I just told you about like celery and carrots and broccoli and lettuce and kale and watermelon and strawberry is all great stuff. You should be eating that stuff because it's very voluminous and low in calories. And it's nutrition. So remember the lesson we had on nutrient dense versus calorie dense, right? So when you eat one of those, bigger Rice Krispie bars or Crunch bars. What are they called? Scotcheroos. Have you ever had a Scotcheroo before? Oh my goodness, you would die for them. But like 1,000 calories in like one of those blocks. Awesome. The like goodness just like in your mouth, and then you wake up like completely swollen in the morning because you just had like 4 of them. So you had like 4,000 calories and you get a little sick, but then you don't because it's so good. You know the story. But the other stuff we're talking about, that's definitely not a negative calorie food. I digress. My ADHD's taken over. But when you think about those foods that they say are negative calorie foods, there's no such thing. Let's just go from there. You should be eating the things that people say are negative calorie food, the apples, the celeries, the carrots. You should be eating the greens. You should be eating the fruits and vegetables. 3 or 4 servings a day. And if not, those fibrous things like the oats and the grains and the things that we went over the other day that's high in fiber, because of the study that shows just even with 30 grams of fiber per day, people lost weight, not changing anything else over the course of a year. So plus it's good for you, right? It helps your gut bacteria, all that kind of stuff. So when you think about this, it's a myth, but in the same sense, the food that they say are negative calorie foods, they're not bad eating anyway. In truth though, let's just go through how much calories do you burn? Like when you digest food, do you guys know? I didn't really know until I did the research. So first thing, carbs. Your body uses like 5 to 10% of the total calories in the food you eat. So 5 to 10% of the calories to burn it. So if 1 gram of gram has 4 calories, what's 10% of 4 calories? So for each gram of carb, if you're on the high side, that's if you're on the high side, it's going to take, I think that's right? Yep, 4 calories. So let's just take, let's say an apple, right? And let's call that's mostly carbs, but let's say an apple has 20 grams of carbs in it. So that would be 80 calories. It would be basically 1/10 of that, right? So you would take 8 calories to burn it. So your net calories are still 72, right? So when you look at it, it's like, okay, now we're starting to see a little bit of like, oh man, I just can't eat all these negative calorie foods and then just suddenly dissipate. So that's carbs. I'm running out of places to write here. So the next one is fats. Fats is even lower. Fat is, I think it's like 0 to 5% of calories. So we know, that fats specifically are higher in calories per gram. So it's 0 to 5%. So 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So that's like 0.45 on the high side. So 0.4 calories, 0.45 if you're on the high side of both of those, right? So you're like, okay, well, it's about the same. So you use about the same amount of calories to burn fats and carbs. And then, oh man, I ran out of ones. Let's, what color should we use for this one? I ran out of colors up here. I'll use purple again. So I like pink though, the best. Let's do pink. So I'm gonna go over here. And so protein. You actually so protein we know has 1 gram equals 4 calories. And it's interesting because have you ever heard somebody use the term like protein is thermogenic? Like that was a big one that we used to use, big hippity hoppity word in the past. Protein is thermogenic. It kind of heats you up or it takes more calories. It takes the most calories to burn protein. And that wasn't a lie. So 20 to 30% of the calories in protein. So for every 4 calories or every 1 gram of protein, on the high side, that's 1.2 calories to burn 1 gram. So when you think about it, that's a net 2.8 calories per gram. And I can't write because I got to squat down a little bit of protein. Okay, so in the end, that's why, I say higher protein diets, people are like, well, higher protein diets, you don't have carbs, rah, you don't retain water, rah. If you're still eating carbs though, how do you like it? Rah. That's just the garbage that people spew at you. So when you use actual facts and when you do a little bit of research and you see, protein does burn the highest. But the biggest thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to count on this, you don't want to use this at all for like how much calories you're going to burn or how much calories you can consume. I mean, the best way to do it is to start with just, I say the rule of 10 and go from there. If you eat a little more protein, hey, that's great. But in the end, is it really going to be that big of a difference? That enough that it should say, well, I mean, I should really do that, because maybe it's on the bottom side of 20%, and that's just average. I mean, it's different per person. Once you've seen one person, you've only seen one person. All of us have our unique DNA, and we all have different ways that our bodies do things based on our genetics and other stuff. So don't count on these types of things. Don't go out and just eat only protein, you know? Like, I just wanted you to be informed on the fact that when somebody says, if you're eating some celery, like, oh, that's a negative calorie food, it's like, no, it's not really, because it only uses, 5 to 10%. For my body only uses 5 to 10%, right? And so when you take a look at that, I just want you guys to be informed. This isn't true. There's no such thing as negative calorie foods. All foods have calories, but your body does use calories to burn them, but it's always a percent of what's contained in that food. So I thought that was interesting. Like I said, I'm looking for any way to help bump this thing down a little bit. I already eat a higher protein diet. I always have. I've always really liked meat. I've always been a meat eater. For you vegetarians out there, I'm not apologizing. I like it. I mean, I like my lean meats. I like my good steaks, fish, salmon, all that kind of stuff. Really, I even like tofu though too. So, I mean, I love the plant proteins as well. I just have always made it a part of my diet, and that's that. That's just how it goes. But hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully this was interesting. And if you need anything in the future for future content, leave it in the comments. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll reply in the comments, or I will do a subsequent video. We're running out, but I'm going to keep doing videos. I mean, just because I'm going to hit this 90 days doesn't mean I'm going to stop. So thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I'm all over the place tonight. I appreciate you patience with me, but I definitely look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. So thanks again.